You have no doubt that their romantic relationship was in effect from 2019 until the last time you spoke with her?
No doubt.
Wow. We're going to have more from this. Nathan Wade himself, by the way, took the stand testifying the vacations he took with Willis while working on the Trump case were paid for using a business card, then reimbursed with cash by Fani Willis.
You said in the affidavit that you roughly shared travel, though, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this roughly sharing travel, you're saying she reimbursed you?
She did.
And where did you deposit the money she reimbursed you?
Oh, it was cash. She didn't give me any checks.
So she paid you cash for her share of all these vacations?
Mr. Schaefer, you'll step out if you do that again.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Wow. And even MSNBS admitting it's game over for Fani Willis.
Fani Willis lied to the court. It's game over for her. She will be disqualified. The issue is that her credibility is shot. Just as Anthony was saying, if she lied to the court, she submitted something to the court that she knew was false and inaccurate, what else was she lying about? It's a horrible, horrible look for her. I think this case is dead in the water.
Whew. Okay, we'll take you back to the courtroom at the bottom of the hour. But now, joining me is Mehek Cooke, attorney and Republican consultant and former assistant U.S. attorney and federal prosecutor Jonathan Fahey. Mehek, Democrats win-at-all-cost mentality on full display with Fani Willis. They think the standards of integrity and the rule of law just don't apply to them. Now Fani Willis's apparent corruption has exposed this flimsy case. Do you agree with the MSNBS host? Is it game over?
For the first time, I do agree with the MSNBS host. It is game over. And who thought election law was boring? This is explosive. It's truly a bad day for Fani and her boyfriend, Wade. And it's a devastating conflict of interest. This case needs to be dismissed. And we have known for a while now that Fani ran fundraising in New York and DC, trying to raise her profile. She was going to attack President Trump. You can't use lawfare. You can't use weaponization of the legal system. President Trump is going to continue to prevail in cases like this because we're seeing the lies unfold in front of our very eyes. And it's truly shocking, Chris.
Right, exactly. A complete lack of integrity, very Democrat. Jonathan, what happens to the Georgia case if Fani Willis is thrown off?
My understanding would be that not only is she thrown off personally, her entire office would be taken off the case, and it would be reassigned to another district attorney, presumably somebody, that also runs an office. And at that point, I think that person would take a hard look at this case and really decide, is it worth going forward? And my guess is, not knowing who it will be, my guess is this case will be over. They will look at it carefully and decide it shouldn't have been brought, and certainly look at all of these ethical problems that are attached to it, and wouldn't want any part of this.
As we go from one segment of government abuse of our people by Democrats, Mehek, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act is up for re-extension. It would be wonderful if this act lived up to its name, but it doesn't, of course, because government apparatchiks are using the tools that Americans gave the government to protect us, and they're using those tools to target U.S. citizens. Shouldn't Americans insist that since our government has already broken faith and broken trust with our people, that we need more protections in place? Shouldn't the government now be forced to get a dang warrant?
There should have always been a process for a warrant. You cannot use surveillance technology against the very Americans that you're trying to protect. We have to go back and remember most of this legislation was passed and the surveillance was passed after instances like 9/11 to protect the American people. What Democrats are doing again is they're using government as a weapon. They're weaponizing it against average, everyday Americans. They're weaponizing it against even school board members, people that the Justice Department doesn't agree with. Now the FBI is raiding your homes. This is ludicrous. This should not stand in our government today.